Hi, team. How are you? Thanks for coming back. This is another episode, Lead Season 2. Wonderful, wonderful co host, as usual, on the side. We'll get a moment to just get into his introduction. But thank you so much. The year is fresh. This is 2024, one of our first episodes for this year. We are psyched. We are ready. We're so happy to have you this year. I think this is going to be such a phenomenal year for us. We have so many things planned. We're going to share with you, obviously, in a few. But just before we get into that, we can hear from my co-host here.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Thomas Ayuaki, and I work for Acquit and also a co-host of the Lead series.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah.
I think this is the first time we're hosting me na Peke.
Yeah,
We always have a guest. We always
Yeah.
have an interview. We always have another co-host.
Yeah,
But it's a pleasure anyway.
different dynamic.
You know?
Yeah.
I also like the setup that we have. Like, guys, you can tell it's new. You can tell there's some improvement for 2024. We're catching the bag.
Yeah.
We're improving. We're leveling up. But we have Ken and Ian as well in the background, as usual. One of the best production teams in the game anyway.
Definitely.
So without any further ado, let's just get into 2024. It's been a month already since we came back to work, since we came back to the studio. There's so much that may happen, by the way. We'd like to, dive into it a bit before we even talk about this specific episode, this, pilot episode. So much to be thankful for in 2024 for the first month. I think I can go first. Guys, like I've just said, like you see, this is a new space. We made such a huge move. Tumehama, guys, Tumetoka kwa block.
Yeah.
Tumeomoka. But this is a new space that we moved into. We're in Upper Hill right now, KMA Center, 5th floor. And, it was monumental for us. We never thought this would happen. Obviously, there are other aspects within the move that are very, very dear to us. But we understand that this was such a huge move.
Yeah.
The space is looking good. The art. We didn't know we're gonna test TV, Tom,
Yeah, test it shows up in sparks. But I can't take all the credit, obviously. Ken, you go up on Yuma. Yeah, Nico around. You also played a role. So there's a lot of discussions around just making the space be a little bit more livelier. And so what you're seeing definitely is just one part of the studio. There's so many other areas that we've tumecheza nayo kidogo. Yeah, but I'm also very, very proud of the move. This is Upper Hill. So for those of you who are not aware, this is the upper side of the workforce.
Yeah.
So hapa sio Kilimani, hapa sio Westlands huko, pale Smoky, chapo zinauzwa kila mahali. This is Upper Hill. So to have the studio exist within this space, only 2 years after we started, that's just a testament to the leadership that we have and the team that we have here as well, because they didn't have to move with us. They didn't have to move with us. So to be here in this space, Season 2, new office, new studio,
Ni God, Maze.
Yeah.
Ni God. I'd also shout out to the lady that supplied us with the paintings.
Yeah.
We'll place, her DJs and her social media in the comments so that you could also take a moment to appreciate her craft. But this was amazing. And she also gave us a gift package to go with as well. So wonderful customer service, wonderful talent.
Kwa nyumba nani? Where is the gift going?
Rock, paper, scissors. It's either me or Cheryl. We like to be fair.
Why are men not being considered? Ian, Ken.
It's not your time to shine.
Atuko kwa ballot.
Bwana, tumerushwa nje bwana. Hey, not fair.
Not to say a controversial statement. Me about to say a fully controversial statement. But just, what are you doing with the purple painting in your house, guys?
No, we have some aesthetic
agendas going on.
We'll not mention a lot.
Let us know.
There's a sofa somewhere.
There's a sofa somewhere that can match.
That might be matching with a few aspects of that painting.
Let us know. There's Tom, there's me, there's Kenny and Cheryl. Who should go with the painting? We'll show you, I guess. You can see it obviously in the cutout. But if you really ask me, it should just between the girl co-hosts, between the girlies, between the ladies who push this agenda, You see me trying to solidify our defense. But yeah, I think this is one of the most amazing things that happened to us in the previous month. So tumefungua job. I mean, it's January, making such a move, like you said, unprecedented, but still just amazing show and tell of what Grayspace can do as a team and as a unit. So to me, that's one of the things that stood out the past month. Yako, unaonaje?
For me, January was a bit of a mixed bag, if I'm being honest. You have to remember, first of all, it was 2 weeks after we came back after 2 weeks. So jet lag, time to kind of get used to Nairobi's diet, which by the way is not easy, especially kutoka uko Western. Mali ni samaki na kuku kila saa. So to come back here and start fiekaring skuma and eggs as a bachelor, that took some time to get used to. But outside of that, strange thing happened. So when tulikuja kwa ofisi, we were having issues with our email. Yeah. So we basically couldn't send emails outside our domain. And for a while, we were trying to troubleshoot things. We were trying to figure out, were there issues with the DNS server? Was there an issue maybe with some of the protocols being disabled? Only to realize that we had been hacked. Yeah, we had been hacked by some of these harmful sort of messages. We could quite point out where it started. But basically, the type of hacking we were experiencing is one called distributed denial of service. So basically, this is where somebody would penetrate your domain or network and basically flood your server with email requests to the point where now it just shuts down.
Yeah.
So it took like how long? It took like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks to figure it out and also just start setting up processes and procedures that would allow us to kind of escape that particular clutch. We worked very, very closely with Microsoft, which I guess is always a good thing. So we managed. Sai tuko sawa, and I think what we've learned from that whole experience is obviously one, protections outside protections within your password alone is no longer enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah, so there's this cool. I don't know. Do you have Microsoft Defender on your phone?
Defender or Authenticator? I have
Authenticator. Authenticator. So I'm assuming everybody, Ken, Ian, you guys have authenticators on your phone.
They're better.
Yeah. So that's the best thing about it. So we learned about that interesting sort of extension, and basically what it does is that once you log in with your actual credentials, there's a specific code that is sent to that app. So you get the approval to join your email through that application. So that was the month. Very, very, very tricky. I can tell you one thing people in management don't want to hear is that they can't be able to send emails. And I think there was an event somewhere close. So we were fighting against that time. And I remember Grace screaming at us a few times here and there, but you had to ongelea. That's a HR issue. Hatutaleta maneno ya HR, but we understood the frustration, I think. But I'm glad that it was sorted out. I'm very, very happy that one of our co-hosts who's not here, obviously, Ignatius, really played a critical role.
Really, really worked.
And we are good now. First month, issues hukula pale, but I'm happy with the way that it panned out at the end.
Yeah, I think that also speaks so much to even us as individuals who work on a day-to-day, or even just listeners back at home. It might not be precisely Microsoft Authenticator for us, but then get that two-factor authentication up on anything.
Very, very
try
important.
Get it up on anything, so that if anything, when you're logging into your various different platforms, so forth, you get that notification, you get that code, so that you can verify that it is you, because we went through it. Anyways, because it's not lying, I was on his neck, because the event that he's talking about, one of the highlights also of the month, if you can pick up from there, we've just had actually most recently, a policy dialogue. This is in regards to digital services in agriculture. And we wanted to, get together stakeholders within the agricultural field to just be able to develop or at least recommend policy then from the program that we ran in Laikipia. Even Laikipia as a pilot then in Laikipia County. Called the Digital Services in Agriculture. So we piloted in Laikipia, expanded to a couple of counties, I think 5 other counties, the second phase. And then now we are looking at the entire nation, this third phase. More information definitely can be checked out on the website and also on our social media pages on it. But that dialogue was so key for us. We had very, very important stakeholders there, starting from the national government to the county government, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Development. We had key players then in the fields of agriculture.
I think I saw the governor for Laikipia.
The governor for Laikipia, yes, was there as well. And he gave wonderful praises on the program na impact imetokea huko. I cannot kid you, ukienda Laikipia saa yenye mention Aquict, they will know. They will say thank you. I think we spent most of the time, before we could expand the program within Laikipia County. So they really know. Wamerelate na sisi sana, they are so familiar with the program. This is the farmers, of course, but also the other stakeholders that we partnered with within the county to assist us to implement that program and make sure that we capacity build our farmers across the county for Laikipia and also just across the country in and itself. We also had high profile guests joining us and recommending so many policies, like within Communication Authority of Kenya. We had Paul Kiage joining us. Then we had Dr. Wanga, very senior citizen within the Ministry of Agriculture. The State Department for Agriculture, actually. Very senior. Prominent name. And you see, we all met, we all sat to join hands, join brains, and develop policy then that can be able to propel our farmers much higher than they already are. So that was a very serious plus. Ian and Ken did it for us, by the way, that time. Sijawa na watu waki live stream siku yote.
Yeah, by the that to me was, I'm interested to just know from their own point of view how that was. Najua ilikuwa stressful. I think by the time ilikuwa inaisha ilikuwa naona like shika mgongo. and that was day 1. So you could tell that going into day 2 that was going to be a struggle. But maybe we can hear from them. I don't know, Ken, Ian, how was the experience like for you guys? What are some of the things you learned? And then we can move from there.
Oh, okay. So the experience ilikuwa poa. It's not a new it's not a new thing to us. Ni kitu tumekuwa tukifanya.
Sikia sasa kuringa.
Relax.
Kidogo true experience ishakuwa.
Sasa ona. Badala urelax upewe uhondo.
Chemsha basi hiyo chai. Chemsha.
Now it's something fanya. So even as out there ukitisha this kind of services from us, sasa tutakuwa tunajifunzia hapa. Yes, we have been doing that for a while.
Yeah,
and
we are very sorry.
Yeah. But on that stage, every event is always unique on its own, even if you say. And on this stage, it was unique because being I think this is the second time we're providing live services for Aquict, which is our home. It was the second time we're providing those services.
For that long.
Yes, for that long especially. Hey, uchovu. Mina kwambia.
I'll sympathize.
Uchovu.
I was not, because I was on them.
Alafu sasa kwanza now starting from day one of which your part ndachia hii anjue kuna mali ilikuwa ina mgonga. Kuna mali mashini ilikuwa imehang kidogo.
Gani burukenge
si burukenge, kuna mashini ilikuwa imehang karibu aenda kutafuta waya aanza kujump-start. But all in all it was good. Yeah, the experience was good, and it's always good doing as much as inachosha, it's always doing what you love. Unajua? Tulifanya hizo ma live streaming recordings and ukitaka kuzicheck enda pale the page pale on Facebook, you can see them, they're still there. They're always there. Yeah. And you can see what we have done there. And also for photos ziko on its way, ni safi. Yeah. Hey,
Grace is finding something funny. I don't know what Grace is finding so funny. Grace would like to...
Kera amesema yeye anaweza chukua cable na jump start. Hata ya physics.
Tuambie shida ilikuwa wapi bana.
Sasa shida ilikuwa wapi bana.
Hii stuff yenyewe ni kweli, live streaming ka Grace Space tuna provide, lakini saa hiyo time tuki-set up, unajua hizi stuff zinahitaji ku-set up a day earlier. So that evening tumeenda kuchukua vitu from town nini. Tukafika Athi River, tukakaa kidogo naambia watu, nafaa kuenda equipment juu hazikuwa zimereleasiwa at the moment because they had renting the gears, nafaa kuchukua huko evening ndo sai the following day kaa unatumia the following day. So mimi huyo kwa Mr. Ubuya, Mr. Ubuya tafuta Ken, tuende naye town, turudi ni tukue gears, alafu tukue na hizo stuff za live stream. Mr. Ubuya alisema hata kwanza nipe stop hapo hivyo, utaweka mafuta.
Ndio hiyo.
Nikasema hapo hivyo.
Dealing with accounts.
Swali uchungu kama hiyo.
Watu wa finance waliambia lazima niweke mafuta. Ikabidi nimetafuta Neema Grace anipe kidogo. Tuende na
hata bado mimi sikupatia ya mafuta ama ya negotiation.
Tukaenda town, tukachukua vitu, tukakaa. Sasa ku set up vitu, unajua tunafaa kulala tukimake sure each and every equipment zinafanya. Tuka set up ikafika hiyo time ya ku set up the inaitwa YOLO box. Hiyo ndio ina help ku live stream, kufikisha data online. Enye nilichukua, it was a mini one. I needed the pro one. So tuko hapo hivyo, tume set up. Kitu ya kwanza yenye ilikuwa inatukula kichwa ni HDMI. HDMI tunaweka kwa kamera, haioni. Tunasema kisha hapo tuko na governor na wakubwa.
This is now in the morning.
It was still in the evening. Monday evening. Tumacho huko hivyo kila mtu ameenda. Usiku Tom. Na hapo hivyo tumesweat kidogo nika reset device ikawaka. At least kakua poa. Tukaingia saa iende ku connect the device to Facebook. The thing is the mini cannot connect to not even Facebook, to the Teams. We needed to find another option and go get the pro one. So me going back to finance and pitching that again because it needed an additional money. Ilikuwa shida.
The real question is you going back or Grace going back?
Ni forward your assignment kwa Grace.
Unajua
hapo usiku ilikuwa very tough.
Watu wana delegate upwards. Unajua hata eleweki huku inapanda ikienda. But the siku ilikuwa stressful. We left I think at around midnight. So guys are going home. I know watu walifika much later than I did. But by midnight is when now tunasema hacha sawa basi. Na bado hiyo midnight ni kuambia Ken na Ian, in the morning you need to pick up the pro. You find your way here by 8 a.m. and you left at midnight. I mean, it's a whole experience. We really went through it.
The following day, Tuesday, Wednesday, we did a nice job. Everything was okay. The live streaming on every platform and hata niliona Twitter wa finance aliingia aka-comment kwa live.
Even me, I was there
after your torture. Bado anaingia comment live and I find the time.
But experience ya live streaming, it's poa. Ni a bit challenging, inahitaji kila mtu akon chap. But everything was good and ukiwa na delegates hapo hivyo na wakubwa around area ka hiyo, you need no mess up. But at least to manage, to handle your stuff.
In fact, I was watching it. I was watching it on Facebook as I was telling you. I think just a few minutes before we started this. And by the way, in terms of clarity, probably one of the best streams I've seen, considering the size of the room, the number of people who are talking, well, the different moving parts. I saw Ian moving with the camera like close to 100 times during those 2 days, and it reflects even in the stream. Because there are points where you are cutting out to the audience, doing different activities here and there. So your hard work for me, I think, really came through. Those ones who are still interested in watching it can still go back to Facebook, Ken, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can still go back there and, just, catch up with it. But I'm sure we'll be releasing highlights soon.
Yeah, definitely.
And, shout out to the Great Space Studio team. I think they did a very good job. And Ignatius is not here for digital claps, thank God.
But
because the appreciation will be done outside this episode. Don't worry. Yeah.
Oh, this is Ignatius, you're catching strays, but kama vile sikukuwa na nikaambiwa niliiba kuku hapa duniani ndo malipo iko.
The case is still going on.
The case is still going on. Now,
open that investigation because we have witnesses. We have evidence. Iko hapa. We know them. Unajua wenye jina zao ziko na 3 letters peke yake. We know them. We know them.
3 letters. Oh, okay.
We are not naming any names.
Yeah.
But we know them. We know them very, very well. But I think the event was really great at the end of the day. Very, very successful. Just kicking off the first month of 2024 in such a huge bang for Grey Space as well.
Yeah.
Lead, we are working on it. Look at us. Consistency is key. One of the key things about Lead that's also standing out for me this year is we have actually changed the structure of Lead series. And you're going to get to see it as we continue putting out content for you guys and just going through this journey together. To me, change kidogo. I mean, last year we saw a lot of interviews. It was much more interview based. Let's get to understand somebody else's craft. What are they doing? So forth, so forth. And not to say that has been deleted now. No. It is still there. We're still going to have interviews because it's amazing to learn from other people and hear what they're doing and their perspective as well. Yeah. To add a bit of spice here and there. We've, created a number of new segments. We have the weeklies, we have the standing ovations, and then we have the deep dive.
Yeah.
And you'll get to see us leave out these 3 segments in and itself. The standing ovation, typically we just want to, shine a light on some of the achievements, some of the great things that are happening within the tech world. And in that specific light, we want to just give a thanks to, as it says, give a standing ovation to something that's happening, an innovation, an inspiration, whatever it would be that then, has sparked an interest within the tech world. We have weeklies where we just like to go through some of the key happenings within the tech space that's going on. Can we be able to update each other on what's happening within the tech space? So weeklies will have a number of topics that we're going through, but just to be able to keep ourselves up to date, up to touch na vitu zinaendelea in the tech world. And then we have the deep dive. The deep dive, I think, is one of my favorites because tunapata chance here, to single out a topic and then really, really see if somebody read after we developed the script or not. I don't know. But then really cook. We want to see how we can be able to cook. But deep dive is really nice because it gives us that opportunity to dive into a topic and really just detail it so that people can be able to understand, break it down to its binary level, see some of its significance, its challenges, or even the opportunities that it offers to the youth right now, young women and youth. So how can they be able to leverage an opportunity at the end of the day, to either grow, to either integrate? You never know what you can gain, but through that deep dive is where you're going to learn. So that's a whole new structure we brought in, and we're testing it out.
Yeah.
But I think I really like it as well because it gives us a chance to touch on so many other things, aside from an interview.
Yeah.
And then now we can be able to wrap it all up with this interview. Can we have somebody come to just speak on the craft, on the perspective of that specific topic? I don't know how you guys feel about the new structure, but to me, I think it's a good direction.
Yeah.
And I really can't wait to see it live out for the rest of this year.
I think for me, just to echo what you've said, this is very exciting for us as a team. We've been passionate about tech for a very long time. Ini kitu tumekuwa tukifuatilia. I think for some of us, it's since primary. For most of these guys that you're seeing here behind the scenes, even for you as well, Grace, you've interacted with it at different points in your life.
Yeah.
But the thing that unifies us is that we truly identify and are fully aware of the impact of technology on what it is that we do. I don't think without tech we'll be having Ian here or Ken here, or even me to some extent. So it comes from that. It comes from that. So having a podcast where, we are focusing on tech, we are looking at how it's impacting the socioeconomic landscape, looking at how it's creating careers for people here and there, how it's building entrepreneurs. It's amazing. And obviously we don't have many tech podcasts in Kenya, but why not? Why not? I mean, we all engage with tech on a daily basis. We all love interacting with it and using it to be able to reach out to people. So having a podcast that can be able to keep you up to date with what's happening, talk to you about people who are making meaningful strides towards ensuring that it's accessible to everybody. Just deep controversial takes from time to time, especially around AI and AI, machine learning, and also IoT, just to stoke the ratings here and there. I think it's always just fun. There's a lot of conversation that's happening around that space, and we would just like to be one of those people who are speaking about it from the point of view of just our experience with it. Again, we are not geniuses. We don't pretend to be engineers within this particular space. It's just about our consumer experience and how that can translate to how you use it. So, exciting branch we are taking on, and to be honest, I can't be more proud of the fact that we are at this point in time, and we've turned it almost to a broadcast / interviewing type of space. I'm really happy about that.
And very informative as well.
Yeah.
So, speaking about the segments, so let's just get down to it. Our first standing O's of 2024, I think.
Yeah.
I'll go around saying the first, so that we can take this as a monument, as a moment in time that we'd like to remember. So the first standing O's, going straight to it, there's big news for all of you tech enthusiasts, all of you, startup enthusiasts, guys who are really looking to innovate, to create change, to create impact. Kuna opportunity kwenye meza.
Yeah.
Utachukua, hautachukua. UNDP, United Nations Development Fund, have announced crazy news, guys. There's a fund that they're bringing to us as Africans. It's called the Timbuktoo Fund. I'm just giving it to you as it is so that we can, drop down into it. The Timbuktoo Fund is looking to create opportunity. Crazy for you guys. We're looking to fund the next 10,000 startups, tech startups, 10,000 tech startups. That's crazy. 10,000 a number.
10,000 tech startups, that's
it's
amazing.
a crazy number across all the 54 countries. I know this is a new advantage for the rest of the, I think about 50 countries that Jaguar focus, I know, for quite some time, based on just venture capitalism investments coming into the continent itself. But now it's open to the 54 countries, and it has a whopping $1 billion fund behind it. It's Kenya shillings. Not small 1 billion Kenya shillings. That's pocket change. Najua any lunch. That's lunch money.
Yeah.
But that's quite a lot of capital, to pour into the continent and to pour into tech startups, because they're seeing that there's something here. There's potential here. So the Timbuktoo Fund just launched a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's weeks ago.
It's weeks ago, and what do you think it means for you as a tech enthusiast, as a startup enthusiast? Somebody who already has a tech startup as we speak right now, or somebody who's in the developing stage, prototype stage. What do you think that means for them, Tom?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's important to note a few things, first of all. 1 billion is a lot of money. $1 billion is a lot of money. As we speak now, the Timbuktoo Fund, I think, has to be the biggest in the last maybe 8 to 10 years or so. And considering that the venture capitalist space has been very, very dry, hakujakuwa na pesa. Most of us who are in the development space have been, fighting for scrums. And even when we get, it's not enough to be able to sustain a life cycle, certainly to the point where you're starting to see green from the product that you've developed. So to have that come in at this point in time is so critical. It's so critical because it gives us an opportunity to at least latch onto that. Remember, it's 10,000 startups.
Startups, yeah.
Out of the 10,000, I think they're targeting an additional 1,000 scale-ups.
Oh, for scale-ups, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are a mathematician, which sadly none of us here are, if you are to divvy up the money, then you'll see that per company, that's quite a lot of money to invest. Yeah. So that's one thing that I took note of. The other thing that I love about the opportunity that's been presented to us is that they're targeting all 54 countries. I think we got a bit overexposed as a tech community and as a country as being one of those that would always just receive funding from different VCs and donor partners. So we are very notorious. Kenya, Nigeria,
Egypt,
South Africa, and Egypt. Those are the people who benefit from this. So to hear that they are looking at a continent-wide approach towards this funding opportunity, I think is nothing short of spectacular. Then obviously there's the fact that within the goal of the funding, they want to make sure that they work with tech startups that have identified thriving sectors within their own locality to be able to innovate.
That's a cash, guys. Yeah.
Because being in the space for more than 10 years or so, I think
Sorry?
Yeah?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, so being in the space for more than 10 years or so, I think the thing that we find a bit frustrating is that the ideas are there, but they're not specifically speaking to, some of the socioeconomic activities that can stand from benefiting from that innovation. So unakuta mse anakutengenezea app ya, for example, maybe a e-commerce app or an e-commerce app, which is fine. It's just the problem is that they're oversaturated in the country. But if you see in a country like Kenya, for example, we are very big in agriculture.
Yeah.
So if somebody can innovate within that space, the chances of them succeeding is very, very high. So what I think these guys are doing that's so cool is that they are working with startups and scale-ups that have identified opportunities within those thriving sectors in their different countries. And I think that gives them 100% chance to really succeed because they have lofty goals. They're looking at, 10,000
tech startups.
10,000 tech startups, but they want to make sure that out of those 10,000, they want to improve the livelihoods of around 100 million Africans. Yeah. And grow the value of that investment from $1 billion to $10 billion within a decade. So those are very lofty ambitions. Tabidi wase wajikakamue. But I love the fact that the United Nations Development Program gave us an opportunity. So shout out to them. I think they deserve a round of applause. Venye Ken atatengeneza kwa effects. Ken, do you want us to clap in real time or
hiyo effect tutaweka
that's the engineer speaking. So man, I think them stepping in at this critical point in time, I think is an amazing thing. And not to forget some of the people who contributed towards making sure that this happens. So the president of Ghana and Rwanda.
I think Rwanda as well, Rwanda.
Those two guys have been champions of this particular process for a very, very long time. And I think there's some stuff that needs to be said about those two countries because over the last 5 years or so,
the growth
and just the ability to invite investors has been on another level. We're talking about, in that fund opportunity alone, I think around 365 million is going to be domiciled at Rwanda. Yeah, so sijui tafanyaje bana, we need to connect with
Paul,
Sir William.
Excellency.
I don't know what we can do. But I think there's a lot we can learn from those two countries. And I love the fact that they championed this from the very beginning. I think President Kagame was even able to contribute another $3 million to the cause.
To the cause, wonderful.
So, yeah, in addition to the United Development Program, the president of Rwanda, the president of Ghana, whose name we cannot pronounce to save our lives.
So we will not.
Yeah, so we're not going to try. Yeah, I think those three specific people really deserve a hand of applause. It's amazing. It's a new era in the tech and VC space, and I think it's worth noting that these are the guys who've pushed it more than anything. Yeah.
So, Meskia, guys, such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunity at hand. Do you have a startup? Do you have an idea? Do you have something? Have you seen a light at the end of the tunnel? Have you seen a thriving socioeconomic activity around you? And have you seen that there's something you can link, something you can integrate tech-wise? This is your chance. This is a wonderful opportunity. Here we have a decade into this. We have a decade to turn this around and create impacts close to 100 million households or livelihoods within the continent. So guys, Kenyans, it's okay. It's not a problem that it's been open to 54 countries. It's always the better. You get to network, you get to connect, you get to enjoy different cultures, you get to understand different perspectives and understand why that innovation works there as compared to maybe it working here. But then it still gives you a chance to use all these different countries, knowledges, perspectives, and integrate, even with still within your own innovation. But this opportunity, a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for you. Please, within the listenership, spread it, let people know, let your friends know, let your family know, anybody, and even yourself as well. Get into it. Then the opportunity, you cannot let it pass you by, not when it's this good.
And I think we can also try and share some resources. I'm not quite sure as to when the whole process starts, because they've just been granted. But we'll try our best, obviously, to make sure that we keep you informed and share all the resources that we can, so that we can put you in a position to succeed.
Lakini your process yanze for them as they get the ladders, get the steps in order for you, start the process. Start
Innovation
the prototype. Start innovation is not a joke. Don't wait for them to announce it started for you to try and pick up. Anza kuinnovate sahi. Hakuna time ya kuwaste, masani machache, mambo ni matatu. Economy naungua. Just innovate. Just innovate. So that's like Thomas said, to just wrap it up with the standing O's. Thank you so much for the UNDP for considering such a wonderful opportunity at such a critical time in the entire continent. We cannot wait for the initial entry. We cannot wait for the activities that will be lined up. We cannot wait to interact with all these different startups and just collectively move and progress so much as a continent at the end of the day. And more innovate. We'll just innovate within the creative space. It's a thriving industry within Kenya, as we can see. It's okay to innovate.
It is, by the way.
Nanentupia macho huko nyuma.
It is. That's the only way we are surviving. And I obviously, doesn't make sense to mention governments. I think it's worth noting that we are just at a different point in this country. And those who are willing and courageous enough to innovate and come up with different ways in which we can be able to make this cash, those are the guys on your drive the economy mbele.
Definitely.
So it's a challenge to everybody. Creative space, tech space, legal space. We need to figure out ways in which we bring these services closer to the community and then charge them for it.
Definitely.
To simplify everything.
You have to get that back, huh?
Yeah, lazima.
And so thank you so much, UNDP. Thank you in extension. Is the excellencies. Is that correct English? The excellencies from Ghana and Rwanda for, championing this so far. We'll all get into it, we'll all catch up, and we'll all be there to impress. Thank you very much. And then that brings us to what's happening around the world, tech-wise. Not necessarily this week, guys. I know we are saying weeklies, but it might not necessarily. The thing is like it just came out 2 days, 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. But let's just, we don't want to misconstrue. But onto what has been happening anyway in the tech world that we believe is really, really key to be able to highlight. I want to start from such a high point. I just want to start from that point because I think it's also very, very key. And I feel nikama it's something that, most people since COVID, they can relate to. I know it's not, coming from a such a positive place still, but then you can be able to see that there's a shift that happened in the world after COVID come. And that brings me to the fact that Microsoft then announced they're going to lay off and 1,900 people, at least employees within Microsoft are about to lose their jobs. And the layman's explanation, yani to your ground here, Tao, Microsoft was able to purchase Activision, Activision Blizzard, gamers. You know Activision, you know Call of Duty, you know Warcraft, you know where it's from. It's the OGs, Modern Warfare. But now Microsoft is able to purchase Activision Blizzard. And I don't know the thin line of the integrities, maybe Tom Nazaka to explain here, but through that purchase, even after so many fights with regulators on Microsoft purchasing Activision, but they purchased, and then out of it, I think 22,000, staff, we're having 1,900 of them being laid off. And it's not affecting just, one specific arm within the company. I hear it's actually about three. There's Microsoft Studios. There's actually a number of arms within the entire umbrella.
Division,
that is being affected. Even overseas workers, guys. So, it's something that's begging a lot of questions. Kuna maswali mingi. Conspiracy, not a conspiracy. Is this just happening? There's been so many layoffs. Watu wanapoteza job huko Silicon Valley. What's really going on? Is it the conspiracy like we're saying, or is it just a matter of, look, this is corporate, we need to some budget cuts need to be made. These are hard decisions that we have to make, or is it a whole balloon of a conspiracy going on?
Yeah, so that's a good way to put it. A bit controversial, stakudanganya, but a very good way to put it, because honestly, it's weird. It's weird what's happening at this point in time, because just before I go ahead, I think it's worth noting that I'm a big gamer. I've been doing it for a very, very long time. I think I started playing games I started getting into video games in 2001. So
that was with Sega.
2001.
Sega was even.
I was playing, at that point I was playing a Sega, it's not a Dreamcast, Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis, yeah.
So I went from Genesis to PS1 to 2 to 3, did a few Xbox consoles from there, got bored with them, jumped to PS4, got bored with that, and then went to Xbox Series X. No, not Series X, Project, whatever, I'm forgetting that name. And then, and ended up in PS5, but that's for another day.
Honorary mention to the PSPs, guys. Honorary mention to the PSPs. The PSPs really did something. For the millennials / Gen Z, the zillennials, the PSP was really, like a pocket game thing. For a while, it really had us,
It was really effective.
Another day.
Yeah, so I think the thing with Microsoft, that's a bit worrying. And I was thinking about this even as I was reading and trying to understand what's happening, is that one, obviously there are layoffs happening. Here at Wizard Feature, there are layoffs happening across Silicon Valley. We are seeing people losing. Microsoft lost a very small percentage. We have companies who are losing close to 25% of their staff. But I think the worrying thing about Microsoft is the fact that, first of all, this is a gaming division that has been suffering a lot. They've been suffering a lot. They had a very strong generation when they were dealing with their 360 consoles.
Oh, yeah.
But I think just the way they fumbled the bag with Xbox One and now Series X. That's from the point of view of not having catalog. And by the way, I want to make this very, very clear. As a console developer, kama hauna magame, hakuna pesa. It's as simple as that. So, so I think the way they mismanaged their console library within the Xbox One phase, and now Series X, has really given PlayStation an advantage. So as we speak now, I think the market share is around, the market share ratio is around 6-1.
6-1?
So for every 6 consoles that PlayStation sells,
Xbox
is only selling one. And the biggest issue is just because there are no original titles. Xbox doesn't have original titles. So obviously they tried mitigating this, and that's why they decided to buy Activision and Blizzard. Activision is solely responsible for Call of Duty and all of those toxic lobbies zenye unazisikianga usiku. Unasikia mtu akikutukana kutoka Canada.
And they're 12 years old. Uko 12 years.
If you haven't been called, Ian, if you haven't been called the N-word at 2:00 in the morning, just because you aren't performing your role or performing your task.
It's because they didn't even revive him early enough.
Then you haven't really experienced online gaming the way that most of us have done. So anyway, so they purchased Activision and Blizzard. Activision is responsible for the Call of Duty franchise. Blizzard is responsible for the Warcraft franchise, 2 of the biggest video gaming titles that you'll find anywhere. And so there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of hope because purchasing that exclusively, then also revamping their streaming bundle called Game Pass, as well as CloudX Gaming. There was a lot of hope that they were going to attack this market with a little bit more fire. And to be honest, I enjoyed, especially during the COVID period, I enjoyed the Game Pass bundle, which is basically you pay around, let's say, 2,000 shillings a month, and you get access to a very big video game library, around 350 games per month. So I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed the ability to play the games from anywhere using my mobile phone on CloudX Gaming. And so there was a lot of hope going into this new venture that they were going to finally do something to catch up with PlayStation. But obviously now the layoffs have come in. And it's not just layoffs at the engineering level. Ni hadi huko juu. Like, for example, the Activision CEO also left.
He left,
Yeah, so it's worrying in the fact that they're attacking, wanatoa kila mahali. Then there's this other game that they had hyped within our own networks called Survivor.
Odyssey?
Odyssey. So we're also excited about that, but Ethiopia imeenda missing. So I think there's a trend that we are afraid of, that Xbox or Microsoft might become the next Sega.
Oh no.
Might become the next Sega. Ian anacheka. Sega zilidisappear.
Zilienda tu.
Hizo zilienda busy. And for some of us who are young enough to, or old enough to remember, Sega ilikuwa kusema for a while.
Ilisema sana.
Shout out to MK in hizo tulikuwa tunakava tala vizuri. So that just disappeared like that. And people thought it was too big to do so, but because of mismanagement, that disappeared. So we, there's that fear that Microsoft is slowly scaling down. And obviously, as you've said, there are many reasons. Like, for example, Silicon Valley altogether as a space is cramping down on redundancy. So they're just trying to streamline, because let's be honest, there are a lot of projections that were made pre-COVID and even during, especially within the gaming division, and they're just not turning out the way that
they expected anyway.
So it's not a conspiracy or anything like that. I think they're just trying to kind of, take a few steps back, develop a more linear team that can be able to execute at, 2/3 or even half the budget. And then just, with that, ensure long-term sustainability. So we've seen Microsoft doing it. We've seen other, gaming studios doing it even outside the Microsoft space. A lot of PlayStation studios are doing it as well. We've seen even streaming services. Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, also released around, I don't know, is it 1,000?
1,000 as well?
Yeah, so it's happening everywhere. And I think the whole idea behind this thesis is just to, ensure long-term sustainability through an efficient workforce that has no redundancy. And so you'll see this continuing. I think the issue with Microsoft is just, if you compound everything that I've shared, the last decade or so not being as fun as they had hoped, there's that real worry that, they might be going in a very, very dark dimension. But they still hope. I'm really, really praying that they come through with some games or some titles in the second half of this current gen. Otherwise,
They need to do something before GTA, because I don't know.
Yeah, the good thing is GTA is multi-platform.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, nimesikia rumors za hiyo game, Buddha, itabidi buy hard disk. Yeah. I was talking to somebody, this current gen of devices, I think zote is an average around 800 gigabytes worth of storage. So we were like, okay. So FIFA imetoka 120. God away. So we were like, Grand Theft itatoka. Then somebody said, my friend, Grand Theft inakuja la hard disk yake peke yake.
Wacha mambo.
Itabidi install. And by then people are joking around. Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. That game was big to the extent where you had to chuck a few from the existing console for it to exist. So, obviously there's that to look forward to, but you have to remember it's multi-platform. So it doesn't belong to Microsoft or Xbox to be specific. It's going to be multi-platform. So the hope is that Microsoft, even with this smaller team that they have, the gaming division, can be able to start working on more original titles. There are a few that they've released. So it's a good place to start, but hopefully they can come out stronger. We have around 5-6 years before the next gen is discussed. So hopefully they can come out stronger in this remaining half.
All the best to you guys. Microsoft, nganganeni. Mko na uwezo. You had that for quite some time, by the way. So the market is there for you guys. All the best. And
they're still willing to support.
Always.
Still willing. I think a gaming space that's monopolized is never fun. You can ask KPLC here na mambo ya stima. If it's one person managing all of that, it's never fun because team imeisha.
Imeenda hapo.
So
ndio maana unatafuta sola kidogo.
So as many companies as they can come in, forget even Xbox, all these other ones, Nintendo. If Sega can find a way of miraculously rising from the death, it serves the gaming industry a little bit better if there's a lot of competition.
And guys, all the best. You can let us know about your gaming experiences. Those rooms are usually tough. Those rooms are usually very brutal.
Call of Duty rooms.
Especially when they discover you're a woman.
Boss.
It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. But tell us about your gaming experiences.
If there was not to be sexist, but if there was a kitchen to be directed, that would be the first statement that
would come out. I swear.
But let's see, you've managed.
Hii mdomo ni mbaya. We just run.
That's what with the African voice. Who said that?
Nataka tu accent. Oga. You wake up as a goat.
Oga, we can see with this. So for them, they don't. I think our tongue is a bit heavy for them. So when they start insulting you, unatokea tu na ile tongue ya Mkenya tu.
Yenyewe.
Who has said that?
You pronounce every word, every syllable.
Who is that?
I know.
Joro nasikia kula mtu analitusi, you start calling Joro in the middle of
focus on it. But I should actually, and for Kenyan as well, you need to get into Kenyan rooms. I just discovered
I find them
a
from
couple
time
of...
to time, but
I think it's just a week ago, makitu kama hiyo. Huko pia ni kumoto. So you can imagine, not to, segregate or discriminate or anything like that, but then the authenticity of Call of Duty, na mnaiskuma tropo na sheng, na Kiswahili na shembeteng, na sheng tezo. All the variations of our Sheng language. It's
the Kenyan exclusive rooms, basically.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing. Raha iko huko. Nimepata tu moja last week. I'm still negotiating entry. Hawajui uso wangu lakini na come guys. Nimecheza hiki tu 20 years. Been driving for 20 years. No, but it's a wonderful space.
If we can get more,
it's a wonderful
more local
space.
groups, I think it's always
And tell
fun
us.
to kind of,
Tell us about your gaming experience. Tell us about the rooms. Tell us about what you think of the layoffs. I know.
group.
No,
Tuko hapo,
tuma your link.
Level 35 na juu. Siko
Tuma
sina
your
jokes.
link.
I do this.
Ain't nobody got time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So tell us about your experiences in the comment section. We'd love to hear how gaming is for you. We'd love to hear how your opinion on the whole laying of re-strategizing for Microsoft and hoping that they can leverage on Activision and Blizzard to just push the next
build from there,
build from there and push the next couple of years from them as they now continue to actually put return their foot to the stronghold. Yeah. Speaking of this, big hitters in tech, some crazy news going on in Europe for Apple, our walled garden. I don't know about you, Android people. We are not going to discriminate. We like you as well. You can make phone calls and message. It's cool.
Yeah.
The stress, the violence. But in Europe, Apple is about to open up, if I can say it layman's term, open up to competitors in regards to app stores. And I want to touch on it a little bit, because at this point in time, it becomes a little bit so technical, not so technical anyway, but there's some technicality aspects of it. And,
definitely.
as Appleians, as Appleians, as iOSians, as walled gardens, we've Apple have prided themselves for the longest time as this walled garden. It's iOS, it's Apple, it's top notch, it's them. And this move is, first of all, to say not quite voluntarily as one might think.
Yeah, definitely.
Si ati wameamka tu Apple na wakasema let's open up to the Android, for lack of a better word, peasants. But look, hawajamka tu na wakasema let's open up this to other competitors or other developers as well. There's an act that has just been passed in Europe called the Digital Markets Act. It's required all these big tech companies then to almost open up the playing field for other competitors, other developers. And so that's what's going on. Obviously, it's in Europe alone at the moment. Panic. Don't panic. I know who Kenya... Unajua, panic is just for Europe alone, but so many implications, so many implications have come through it. I know big developers like Spotify, like Microsoft, or any other then were really looking at this like hii ndo ilikuwa ile deal imeiviana.
Happiest day of their life as far as they're concerned.
Hii deal iliviana. With that act, by the way, for other developers, other competitors, hii deal iliviana, but then Apple came in clutch and they said, ain't nobody got time for that. And, we'll get to explain obviously what that means. But then what in layman's, if I can, is that now within iOS, within Apple, within your iPhone, in Europe again, you can have other, app stores apart from the iOS app store. You can be chilling and have Google Play Store chilling on your Apple phone, just in the layman's version anyway. It's not in the most technicality or its truest form, but just for us to be able to relate and understand what it means to open up it's walled garden to competitors. That's what it means. And for developers, hiyo ilikuwa plus, because now they felt as if they escaped this whole, the fee. The percentage fee that you have to remit in regards to app stores, having your application being authorized within the app store, even just the rigorous application process I saw for it to get verified by Apple, and all in all hindsight, they take that route because, they believe in so much security and safety of the user's data. Well, ushaona hapo, like, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Hata wezangi kwa na loan up. As you, unajua na wezi kwa na loan up. It's the security for the user data, nini. So, having that opportunity to open that up to other competitors, and for them, like umesema, it was the best day of their lives. But then Apple came in and said, look, if this is what you want to do, then this is what we also have to do at the end of the day to still, somehow, protect our users at the end of the day. And, still make that bag, because you're not going to run away from the bag, guys. The bag must be secured at any point in time. I know there's some percentages floating around 10 to 17% of total sales. There's so much of the nitty-gritties, and I know Tom can mention some more about it as well. But then, that feeling, or how do you feel like? You can let us know also in the comment section as listeners, or as iOSers if you're there, even as well as Android users who are away, Windows, so forth. How does it, feel that now other competitors can walk into iOS, have them pre-exist within, or for you as an iOS user, how does it feel for you to know that within Europe anyway, or if in any case in this scenario, how would it feel like for you to know that, hey, unaweza kuwa na Google Play Store, kuna mtu anaweza tokea na any other different app store. There's always that feeling of, tumekuwa closed off as Apple, and then now it's going to be opened up to other developers. There's some feeling out of it. Good, bad, who knows? It's okay either way. But then, what does that mean for Apple? Is this the first crumble in the entire wall? It's just in Europe for now. I mean, but is this the first crumble in the entire wall? What do you think, Tom?
I think it's important to note a few things within what has happened. One, you've already mentioned it in quite a lot of detail, which is the fact that this is in Europe alone. So there's still quite a while before we start seeing the ramifications here in Africa, and even US for that fact.
For that fact, yeah.
So that's in Europe alone. Second, I think how I feel about it depends on who I'm answering this question as. Am I answering it as a consumer, which I happen to be, of Apple products and Apple resources, or am I answering it as a developer, which I also happen to be as well? As a consumer, I think there's always the issue of security. I think we can all agree here in this studio that, outside of the glam and all of that, I think the reason why we love the iOS APIs in summary is because they're secured.
They're secured.
Your data is something that they place at a very high level. Our joking at any cost. And so I always feel safer using that operating system, whether it's on a mobile, desktop, laptop, whatever it is. I always find it safer using that. So there are a lot of concerns as a consumer as to what this will entail from a security point of view. Because let me be very honest, creating security policies and protocols for an alternative app store is going to be close to impossible. They cannot manage that. It will be 100%. I think Tim Cook has mentioned it as well. We've had other Apple executives talking about that and sharing their concern. It's going to be close to impossible to kind of secure that environment as well. So there's that. The positive side of it is that as a user of iOS, you'll get a more comprehensive view of the applications that are available. So, you might be able to get access to some of the different platforms that you are not maybe able to do. So I think if I can be a bit selfish, you'll be able to access MCT now. iPhone. Yeah, which
finally
was close to impossible. It was actually impossible. So, for me, I think the positive is that you'll get a more nuanced experience because you'll be able to access different apps from alternative app stores. But I think weighing that against the threat of security is now what people we will have to kind of look at moving forward. As a developer, best news we could have had at this point in time, because one of the most irritating things is being able to develop an app, but consistently having to configure it just to be able to have it be uploaded in that app store.
In the App Store, yeah.
It is close to impossible. And uploading it is one thing. That's one.
That's one.
Patch updates.
Oh,
If
my
you
goodness.
want to release patch updates,
It's
my
something
friend,
else. Mtasi
it takes a while for them to approve, and it's back and forth to the point where it even gets boring. So, as developers, I think it's a good day, especially for those ones who are developing for the European market. For us, I think we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but there are advantages there as well. For Apple, my honest opinion, as you've said, Apple are not jokers. They've been in this business for a very long time. So I know people are happy celebrating that. The 30% fee that they usually take on
You'll be wavered with this
in-app purchases. That's now done. No, my friend. Takutana na annual payment huko. And based on early discussions, I don't want to commit anything. I'm just talking about what we've had. It's as if it's going to be close to equal or even higher
than the
30% fee on all in-app purchases. So it's they're still finding ways of navigating. But I think I'm realizing about Europe is that Apple wants to secure Europe.
Yeah,
As
it really
we
wants
speak now,
to.
the market share is heavily towards Samsung's favor. I think there's a distance of around 6% or something close to that.
That's quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying as much as they can. And this is not the first thing that they've done. They converted their charging ports into USB-C, which, believe me when I tell you, Apple was never going to do that, not for iPhones. But they had to do it because of the European Union. There's these alternative app stores that they're already enacting as well. So there's a systematic process in which, yes, Apple is complying, but the bigger picture is that they want to slowly
take some market share back.
Chip at Samsung's market share. So we'll see how it will go. I think there are benefits for everybody. And even though you feel as if Apple imefinywa kidogo, I can guarantee you that they'll make this work for them.
Themselves.
They'll find a way of making it work for them. But for the users, you get a chance to use multiple app stores. You get a chance to engage with different applications here and there. For developers, it's a chance to get into an ecosystem that has been as gated as anything you can imagine. So we're happy about that. The hope is that it translates to other zones or other continents, possibly Africa. But we'll see what will happen. But Apple has been going through it for a while. And the hope is that they can ride the ship a little bit and get some meaningful gains at the end of this, which translate to some increase in the market share.
Yeah, but there's some gains for Apple already. I don't know about you, Tom, but the Apple Vision Pro is out. In US, obviously, alone, subject for African markets. Zitatufikia tu, be calm. You other heavily endowed African Apple users, but Vision Pro is out. What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are the initial everything since it's out?
Me, wacha nikwambie tu kweli. And I also want the studio guys to also contribute. Me nimeanza savings plan.
What?
Nimeanza savings plan. I've done my calculations. It's $3,500. I don't know how much that translates to.
What's the math, guys?
Math.
3,500 times 162. Hey. Mwalimu wa maths. Wacha calculator ifunguliwe. Because clearly.
What is
3,500 and 162.5 or something like that?
Times 1?
162.5.
More maths. That is 585,000.
Yeah.
So you have a savings plan for how?
It's not. It's a savings plan. Yes. Obviously, I'm not going to raise all of that money within a year or so.
But in due time,
Yeah, in due time. I'm thinking by the time they're doing Gen 2 or they're releasing Gen 2,
you can be able to
it's really settled. I'm hoping it can be able to go slightly down to around 350, 300, 350, which is basically the prices of most MacBook Pros. And initial thoughts, ile device likali buda.
Kitu ni moto. Imeenda
Hakuna
shule.
jadi kudanganya. One of the things that I think impressed me about it is, first of all, just the ability to fully immerse yourself in the virtual space and still see real objects around you. I think it's something that other virtual reality devices are struggling to kind of put together. And I'll not name any names, Meta. But, yeah.
No names are named.
No, I'll not name any names. But yeah, so basically, to simplify this, I can have an entire screen of, let's say, some documents or a browser and still be able to see Ian, Ken, and you on the side. So I find that very cool, because then it means that you're not totally lost in the experience. Okaika Zuzu. At least you can move around. I know you've seen those memes of guys, just walking and
gesturing.
throwing up gun signs. So I think that's something that stands out to me a lot. There's also the fact that, even just within the visuals, you can be able to kind of open multiple tabs. So, Ian, you're a videographer, so you can have one window doing your editing. You can see it in real time, maybe on another window. You can be having some music playing. It's this multi-user type of environment that allows you to do quite a lot within your own confines. So I think that's very, very cool. And then the most important thing, and this is what separates them from anybody else, it's their input method. It's their input method. Most VR and AR devices always have this irritating controller.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'll not mention any names, Meta.
No names are mentioned.
So they have this irritating thing where you kind of have to, it's almost like you're playing a video game, which should not be the case. Which should not be the case. So why I put them at that high level is that, unlike the other ones that we've mentioned, you actually get to navigate through the user interface using your eyes, your hands, and your voice. So if you have this big window with the user interface in front of you, all you have to do is just look at that specific app and click using your hand like that, and then it opens. If you're interested in scrolling, you just have to
just the same hand motion you would use.
If you're interested in increasing the size, you just kind of scale it up, and moving in windows here and there, just trying to do your different editing and stuff. You can be able to do all of this with your eyes, your hands, and voice, which is it's unheard of. It's unheard of, because using your eyes, for example, that's 10, 15, 20 years ahead. Isn't it? If you look at Iron Man.
See, that's what I thought, right?
So bringing it that close to us, I think, is nothing short of amazing. I haven't used it, obviously, because it hasn't arrived, but I'm waiting. The first time naiona, na najua katia na junction.
Na junction, definitely. And then those sides of Two Rivers, of course.
I'm waiting to at least see how it all looks like. But the input method, I think, for me, really, it's really something else. And then obviously there's the entertainment side. So there's this.
That's very key as well.
There's something called environments. I don't know if you read about it. The one that allows you to kind of fully immerse yourself.
Whether it's photos, videos, or even, theater,
it's
movie.
Fully 3D environment. So there's quite a lot you can do within the entertainment side as well as productivity. I love the fact that they still integrated spatial audio for Ken.
For all of us.
That surround sound system, I think, is very important, especially when you start immersing yourself into that space. I think that's very, very key. And as a productivity tool, and I know I will hear from Ken and Ian, does it make sense? Because for me, as an IT professional and as a person in program work, I like multitasking on different screens. So if you can be able to give me a device where I'm making use of this entire space and I can be able to kind of put together my work, listen to music, do a few things here and there without any disruption, that's fine. That's fine with me. But issue is that with every good piece of technology, there's a lot of drawbacks. So one of the most irritating things is the fact that Ian is pointing towards the battery. I'll get there.
Yes.
I'll get to the battery.
Ian is correct.
Yeah. But the biggest thing that I think is a peeve for me is when you start typing. Although they sorted it out, because wamekubali will connect keyboard. Through Bluetooth, you can connect the magic keyboard and touchpad. Otherwise, you can imagine typing into the air. Unafinya hewa. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I saw, I think, in different videos, there are some who are using the magic keyboard and mouse input. And I guess that saves it a little bit. There's that. There's also the fact that for me, I'm still worried that third-party applications have not bought into it yet. YouTube haiko, TikTok haiko, Netflix haiko. Spotify is not there, Prime is not there. So the only things that they have now is Disney, sindio? Yeah. Disney, obviously Apple TV. Yeah, they're in the process of negotiating for ESPN, so that can be a cool thing, especially for American sports. But the ones that we use here in this country, most of them are not there. And when you go back and look at that price, because let's be honest, what productivity, maybe within the creative side, guys like Wakida Ian and Ken, those are the ones who can be able to justify such a purchase. But for entertainment, if you're buying it for your kid, and 2/3 of the applications that they use are not available, it's a question of value for money there. That's a little bit tricky. So hopefully that continues to develop. Remember, it's a new device, it's a new piece of technology, new era in spatial computing. So there's a lot of negotiations that are taking place. But all in all, from what I've seen from our influencers within the tech industry, ile kitu ni maneno mbaya Buddha. Yeah, ile kitu ni maneno mbaya. I don't know what the other guys think, but that's for me my initial thoughts on the same.
Ama YouTube bado hajaweka sababu itaharibu YouTube Premium. Ukiwa kwa itabu kwa YouTube. Unaweza songa bado kwa tab ingine.
Yeah, but once you're in Premium, you can't be able to move around. Certainly on your laptop and stuff. But
hiyo akili ya Ian inaungua. Hiyo kitu amesema inaungua because you've already opened up the multi-tab aspect. So I'll still have YouTube running on this side with no premium, and then on this other side I'm continuing with everything. That's a loophole. I don't know, any Apple tech guys, if you catch this episode, see the loophole, don't solve it, but see the loophole. Or YouTube kaa ngumu.
Yeah, but what I thought, I saw you pointing towards the battery. I have no issue with the battery, by there, let me be very honest. I think as long as it's long enough to fit into the pocket, it seems okay, but obviously they could have done a better job in sorting out that form factor. But I know Ian had issues with it.
I think BMN got issues with battery because we have phones that, first of all, are much higher than 3,000 mAh. We have phones that can, first of all, last longer than 2.5 hours. Phones close to 5,000 mAh, Tom. And we're looking at this.
The Oraimos and...
The Intels, the Technos, the Infinixes wanakuja hata na 6,000 mAh on the battery. But anyway, aside from that one as well, they could have done so much more than 3,000, as well as they could have done so much more than, I think it's 3,100 and something, 66. I'm not sure.
That's translated to 2 hours.
2.5. And then as well as the charger itself, the charger for the battery is not even a fast charger, 30 watts. Oh. What? The charger is on 30 watts. we can. There's a lot more that could have been done in regards to battery and charge. Yeah, not even 60.
60 is not bad.
So having it at 30 watts and then 3000 mAh kidogo hapo.
30 ni MacBook Air.
Jamen.
Yeah, honestly, 30 ni MacBook Air ile kitambo. Ones these days are working with 45 kwenda juu.
That's the question nilikuwa nayo. But for me, my favorite feature, it's a bit biased anyway for us, semi-blind, visually impaired people. They do have an aspect for the lenses. You can actually put in lenses onto the display, and then the lens will read your specific prescription on your eyes, and then make sure that you see it according to the prescription. My guys,
hapo alifikiria kama
hapo mlienda shule watu 10 hivi mlikaa mkafikiria mkasema watu wa miwani, because that would be the biggest concern if you have specs like me and him. How will you put that entire thing then up again? So to actually think that through and make sure that you don't auto-prescribe a prescription that doesn't belong to somebody, inakupima tu hapo hivyo na ina load. Technology. That's my best feature out of all, because that's that inclusivity level of thinking, and then just opening it up. Because not in a bad way, most gigs have spectacles. Because we're looking at large percentage. You're looking at screens for 99% of your time. So eventually, kidogo macho itaenda tu. So to have that aspect, I think that it's so detailed, it's so particular.
Yeah.
Elinibamba sana, I think that's one of the best. Maybe you can hear from Kenny and best
and I
feature.
know, remember we are talking about this and we haven't even accessed it. So we are just happy about the features. Obviously, once we do, and God decides to shower money into our pockets.
Hallelujah.
We'll be able to
unbox. We'll have an unboxing video.
Kila mtu atendalayo siku moja.
Unbox.
Yeah, so anyway, Ken, Ian, I don't know what you guys think about it. Obviously, Ken being in the engineering space, some thoughts. Ian, as a videographer, I don't know what you guys think.
Me, for the Visual Pro, me stuck kidogo. But the way the design that their views making, I don't know how to put it, but the way the information really gather here, I saw about it's not the same as VR or this other thing.
No, yeah.
Definitely.
The name that they came with is the
spatial computing.
Spatial, I don't know, spatial. It's just having having the software itself, not the software, but the
just the
reality itself.
Yeah.
Interact with the physical world.
Yeah.
So that's very
key. It's different, much different from the VR, right? Or where you have
fully immersed to
the
virtual
space, but I want the physical environment. But it's something great. Tukiweza pata tunaweza try it on doing some editing also. Not only editing, pia kuwa na full screen tu na watch show movie tu
hapa tu one on one,
sound umesikika surrounding iko hapo hivi niko kuna home theater. It's something really amazing.
I'm actually excited for you guys. More than even me. I'm excited for you guys.
For the entertainment guys.
Basically on the entertainment side, so advantage. And another thing that I felt it's much better in the industry and even the working environment is the doing a video call.
I saw it.
You can create your own persona and have your face. Then you can have a one-on-one interaction, nakuona hapo Tom unaniona, it's like we are there physically, but it's still on the virtual world.
By the way,
technology is growing, and the Apple Vision Pro, it has a lot, and maybe when you get hands on it, we'll know more about it. And it's advantage pia hapo kwa battery, na pia price pia
Price na it was expected. Price unafaa wache kustuka. Price unafaa wache kustuka at this point in time. Do you know these guys? Ama umewasikia tu? Unawasikianga tu na uko na devices zao. Ama unawasikia tu?
Anaenda kwa duka la hili au much? Sasa hili 600.
Unafungua kesho? Nitapitia kesho.
But Cool Vision Pro, it's something amazing, and it'll bring up so much difference on the technology and even just on people everywhere to around. Apart from the Europe market, I hope it expands.
Itashika because this is just the beginning by the way. Itakuja shika.
Wacha wa test run huko hometown, you know, home ground. Wacha wa learn, then they'll bring to us. Tukiweka savings plan ya Grace Space. Tukue hata na kamoja hapa. Kila anacheka huko.
Savings plan. Collective
kisako.
Anapewa siku 2.
Unakaa na
Kila mtu siku 2 kwa duty roster. Hakuna jokes.
taka tu kwa kitu unapata tu.
Bas.
Lakini kidogo mtaani wasawajio nini watadhani wewe ni cheesy.
Hiyo inabidi unaitumia nyumbani. Unasikia Ken? Hiyo inabidi unaitumia ndani ya nyumba.
That's why I wanted you to tell us, having not to go too much into your personal life, but just thinking of yourself as a member of your family. What are your thoughts on its ability and how you can be able to use it in your crib? Because again, mi naongea hivyo because kwangu ni rahisi. Naingia kwa nyumba na natengeneza screen ka 20 throughout the entire house. And I can exist. But for you, I know it's a little bit different.
But actually, kitu ile outstand on my side, yenye inagonga hizi zingine, it's that the fact that ukiwa in it, you can still see mwenye ako mbele yako.
You can still interact, the physical.
Unajua hizi zingine, hizi VR zingine ulikuanga like, ukivaa
Ukienda umeenda.
But the fact that atukiwa nazo bado unaona, you can still interact with somebody hata akiwa hapo. Hiyo nawe bedhe walipeleka out of this world. And then now, like kwanza hiyo immersive nini yake na imagine sasa nikiwa na watch kama nini. There's a time I watched Jurassic Park.
Pacific Rim.
Pacific
Rim.
Sasa na imagine na Fast and the Furious guys.
Na imagine sasa nikiwa na hiyo, alafu sasa niko huko ndani kabisa.
Unakuta kidinosaur
kinakimbia hapo kanda yako. Chunga.
I think kujua hiyo immersion, jaribu tu horror movie ndo utajua. Jaribu tu kitu 3 hivi horror movie tu uweke display mwisho 100 by 100 ukae peke yako. My friend.
Uizoom yote.
Hapo tunaanza kutoka
mbio. Yes, on the sound side. Kitu naweza penda kutry, like especially on the scoring. Now I can imagine I have maybe nimepatiwa like a movie that I'm supposed to do some scoring and stuff. You see, when we are doing scoring especially, and this even my sound engineer out there can attest this, that what we do mostly, I don't know, patanga unazima 2 lights, you have your screens there, zina show your movie. Now you start scoring, kutengeneza hizo my effects and everything. Now I can imagine having that on and then now niko ndani ya hiyo movie, because that even ndivyo si try kujieka ndani ya hiyo movie so that we can now connect na that movie in terms of feelings and everything. Now imagine nikiwa nimevaa hiyo and then I don't know kama inaweza work, but inaweza penda kutry, because imagine niko huko ndani, imefika somewhere you just want to do some orchestra, but
I think it should be possible, Ken. Obviously, again, we haven't interacted with it, but certainly from the release notes and everything, I've seen. Again, nimegundua that thing is very big on the creative industry. It's very, very big on you guys. So, I think it should be able to do that right then. That's a good idea. Scoring from within the movie.
Exactly.
You're crazy.
Because you score will give your best. Even the music itself, niko sure when you're watching movie, kuna, as in those effects and that musicality inakupatia certain feeling. Kama ni place iko na horror, ki-effect fulani kinakushtua. kama ni place iko na emotions fulani maulavidavi tumeingia ile mwezi Grace
Ushaiona
Motrashe sisi watu.
so you see like naweza penda kuitry like to try nipate saa movie and then now I try to do that scoring nikiwa niko immersed ndani kabisa I want I'll have to try it.
I use the sound effect. That's how I know I'm old. Nimetumia sound effect ya Super Mario. Tabileta hakuna msamerada.
Acha nikwambie kitu
Hakuna msamerada hiyo but anyway. Grace hata hajaisikia. Hiyo hajui. Hiyo ulikuwa unasikia tududududu.
We'd like to plead the fifth.
Unajua kimeumana. But anyway, can I agree with that? I think just within your sound engineering space, there's quite a bit. Yeah.
So guys, we're all keen. Tunangoja. If you have a group of friends, if you're capable, once it gets to us anyway, to just make some sacrifices here and there, make a great purchase.
Mnataka kutuchangia. Pesa iko wapi? We'll put it somewhere.
Iko hapa. Watafanya hiyo kitu.
Simeanza kuomba sadaka mapema bwana.
We are planning.
It's a savings plan. Unajua tukisema savings plan, Ken ulianza tu kucheka. So clearly we are not counting on you. We have to find and replace. But tunaweka hapa nikapay bill ka M-Pesa hivi, just we are friends and friends help each other. But keep an eye out, guys. I think Apple have broken a barrier tech-wise, speared us into a whole new different world, Tony Stark type of Marvel Phase 4 kind of world for those Marvel fans out there. So ni serious. It's here already anyway to a certain extent. We wait for it to come to us in a few, I'm not sure in how long. I'm not saying in a few set nikana inside information.
Second or third quarter if I'm not wrong.
Second or third quarter.
Third or fourth, but anyway.
Third or fourth. Itafika tu. Itafika. For us, if God allows and we get that purchase, we'll take you through the experience step by step by step. Utaona hata yeye anakienda na hiyo kitu nyumbani, astue kidogo neighborhood. Because why not? Why not? I mean, if it's there, right? If it's there. So I think we keep an eye out on that, see the shift in tech, see the world that we're heading into now, and see how definitely you can be able to fit in. And just to wrap it up in regards to standing O's, we need to talk about the African Tech Startup Summit, Africa Tech Summit. It's happening 14th and 15th of Feb.
14th and 15th.
We're gracious enough to be able to attend the event and network and connect. So there's so much about the Africa Tech Summit. It's going to be, I think, the Sarit Expo at Sarit Center. So first of all, make your way there. Let me start from there. Go to the site, Africa Tech Summit, see the requirements that you need, purchase your ticket, make your way there. I think that's such a wholesome 2 days of an event to be at, because you're looking at, and actually saw the agenda that they put out. They have at least agenda, the program for the 2 days. Let me speak in.
I'm supposed to peruse through it, I think, tomorrow.
Actually, just saw it today in the morning. The agenda iko hapo iko poa. Kuna speakers from all over the continent who can, touch on fintech, agri-tech, startups, so much information that can be gotten from there. Wonderful panel discussions as well listed in the program. But the key thing, I think, there's just, I don't think there's such a learning experience like this that any tech enthusiast would want, or at least would like to integrate themselves into.
This is it.
That's the prime, guys. You keep distance. That's the prime of it. That's the prime of it all, because then you have all the tech enthusiasts, at least not all, at least most of the tech enthusiasts within the country here, within the other 53 countries that are joining. I mean, lucky enough, it's being hosted here at Sarit. To have this wonderful chance. They have people pitching their innovations as well. Their pitch decks hapo, watu wanakuja present innovations zao. It's a wonderful time for you to come and see, especially kama wewe ni mtu kuna innovation, you're looking to start something up. Why don't you come and learn, see how pitch decks are taken, see how people pitch, see how people arrange their ideas, their innovation. get some few cards, give out your cards, give out your information, learn, explore. I think for us, it's to be honest, the first one we're attending. Ni sawa tu, hatujai stuka. You know, we learn, we live and we learn. So this is the first time to attend. I think we're so psyched, so excited. We'll, you know, do our best. We'll document some things for you here and there. You see our experience as we're there. But I think just for the studio, sisi kama also a startup, you know. We're also a startup 2 years in. I think we are almost approaching that lifeline where startups die. It's about 2 to 3 years. That's the statistics anyway, hapa mtaa, that for 2 to 3 years, the startup is gone. So even for us, we want to go see. Nataka kwenda kujua, then if you're heading to such a critical point,
what's the survival
mode? What do we need to do? Do we need to camouflage? Do we need to improve? Do we need to remain and weather the storm all the way through? What do we need to do? We can learn. Tunaweza learn hizo vitu zote from all those different tech gurus that are going to be there. You know, hopefully that, you know, you guys at home still, you'll make a chance, an opportunity to go. Like I've said, just go to the site, check on what you need to be able to do to be a participant and to attend. But this I think is top for us, especially for the first quarter. As a studio, this is top for us.
I think, definitely. I'm hoping that they stream it on YouTube.
That would be good.
I know it's a shot in the dark, but I went to their page and saw that they put, I think, every single video that they had about the event. So whether at some point it was a live stream or not, I think those are things that we can always be able to figure out. But I really think that they need to kind of have a digital presence, because it's a big event, as you've said. Lots of people coming to talk. Shout out to the guy we interviewed, Amos. Is it Amos Kimani?
Is it Amos?
Amos Kimani, yeah. Sorry. Long podcast, I think we forgot. But yeah, Amos Kimani. So I'm excited to see how he'll present his solution as well. Big fan of his work. Big fan of the podcast we did. I think there are a lot of gems that he was able to share with the audience, which I'm sure you'll be able to see in the next few days or so. So yeah, it's a big event, probably the biggest of the year. I'm struggling to find any other that comes close to that within the tech space, and it's really difficult. But we're excited about it. Hoping for a lot of learning experiences here and there. And then on Friday when we come back, I know it's a short period of time, but we'll hope to release our first round of reactions and talking points around the save, and then see how we develop it as time goes. But site in space, if you're interested, I think we can always direct you to their website and figure it out from there. But for those of you who are going, we can't wait to meet you guys there and talk about the thing that we love more than anything, which is technology.
Guys, don't waste that time. Kuna watu wanakula Valentine's, but there's some people hard at work. I mean,
it's on 14th.
It's on 14th and 15th. I mean, if you want to drop down there with your significant other, even the better, learn, grow together, who knows. But for us, as mongrels in the corporate space, our entire 14th is dedicated there. I saw there's also an after party at the end on 15th. Maybe that's something.
But my issue with after parties.
This man is too old, but it's okay. We can, the rest of us.
It's also like in a year.
The rest of us will after party.
We'll try and source it out and see if it's my type of crowd.
Definitely.
The introverted, Roomba listening type of people who don't really move a lot, fine. But if it's the other one.
What are the chances that he's actually going to get such a crowd? I don't think so. But you can let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We can see who takes that bet back home. But guys, that's the wonderful place to be. I was just going to mention about the deep dive and move into that. We had a wonderful, wonderful interview. You can check the deep dive. Deep dive.
Last time ilikuwa Kisii. This time ni Waluhya.
Ningependa kutumako salamu.
Tumako tu haraka.
Kule Putalang. kukasapu nimesemako TIFE. So we had a wonderful deep dive, and just around the whole aspect of startups. We had a wonderful guest, Amos. Ken linked us to him. He has a wonderful application. Not to give away too much on that deep dive, because it's its own and it has so much life and information and laughter. Please be able to catch it just right after this. It's a wonderful episode. It's a wonderful space for you as listeners. If you have a startup, if you're looking to have a startup, if you're just trying to understand the space, if you're looking for general information, or just you like to listen to our podcasts and all the content we put out, Amos and that specific deep dive was I think it was legendary. I think it was beyond anything to try expect. He's a very young guy, very cool, but a guy that he hustle amepiga, he hustle amechapa. And I think those are the type of stories tunataka kusikia pia kama youth. You know, you want to understand. Tunataka kujua that eventually utapiga hii hustle and it will pay out. Usifeel ni kama itakwama, eventually it's going to pay out. So that kind of story, that kind of environment, and much more nitty-gritties you'll get on the deep dive. And that will just be able to wrap up the entire structure that we have. And I think for the first time, it has been great as a first structure, as this new structure, as first time for this new structure, where we will be segmenting here and there. You'll catch a deep dive on its own. You can catch some standing O's on its own. You might catch a weekly on its own. But that new environment that we've just created, where we can be able to disseminate all this different information, at least in a way that unaweza ichukua, you know? You want to find ways to give you this information that's more palatable to you guys back at home, and also easier for us to be able to break down and really discuss in detail. So thank you so much. Hope you stand by us as we explore this new structure. Let us know every single time we drop something. Do you think it's working? Do you think it's the best? Do you think
we need to fine-tune a few things?
Fine-tune. Do you think this pivot then? And what do we need to add? We'll always add. You're always welcome. We are a unit. We are, a family as a listenership. So thank you so much. This has been the first weekly Standing O's deep dive structure for lead series. I think amazing episode. Tom, first time to me host nawe peke. You can tell the age difference, but I don't know. We try.
We try to cover it.
We try to cover it here and there, except take to Super Mario and just straight to the head. But
Yeah, and a big thanks obviously to the studio team, Mr. Kel, Mr. Ian, asanteni sana to host once again. And to everybody else, just, kindly give us an opportunity, subscribe, check us out. There's a lot of stuff we'll be sharing. Ian is going to teach me how to vlog, so hopefully we can be able to put some highlights of the event. I don't know how that's going to take place, but hopefully the lessons will be brief tomorrow. But the whole thing is just we want to share as much as we can in our tech journey in 2024, and we'd like you to be part of it. So kindly subscribe, and let's walk on this journey together. Asanteni sana.
All right, see you in the next one. Thank you so much, guys.